Hi everyone, for today's unbox, test and review, we will be discussing the MK950. It's a Speedlite designed for Nikon. It's available at Plaza, and I have my camera here and we'll do a quick setup somewhere at the corner of my room and we'll see how this product performs. Okay, so let's see what we've got inside the box. Okay, so it has very decent packaging. Of course, one of the things that I noticed when I got this box is that it says Canon, and then the lady just scratched out the word that says fits Canon and then just placed Nikon. When I got this flash, I didn't have my camera with me, so one good tip that I can provide for you is if you're planning to buy accessories for your camera, just bring your camera along so that you can find out if it's compatible or not. Now, I also noticed that it says Meike. So looking at the name, you might think that it's a Japanese brand, but if you look at it closely, on the box that it says it's okay, it says Hong Kong Meike Digital Technology. So it's definitely not Japanese brand, it's made in Hong Kong. Okay, so what we've got is a small pouch, and let's see what we've got. And we've got the flash itself. It's pretty decent. It's very lightweight. I noticed that there are no other accessories aside from the user's guide, and on the user's guide it says for Canon instruction manual, which should not have been the case because I specifically bought something for Nikon. But if you look at the hot shoe, the receivers or the pins that the camera has and the flash are identical. Now if you look at the hot shoe for Nikon, it's just the same, so I'm pretty confident that it is for Nikon. And I also noticed that we did a quick review of the Pixel Pawn last time, and they have the same setting. And I also have my old flash, which is a Yungno, and let's get this one. And they're both the same, so I'm pretty sure that this is definitely a flash for Nikon. Okay, so aside from just the user's guide, I have the receipt inside, and I also have the warranty card. So nothing much, just the flash and a pouch and a user's guide. So I have a fresh set of batteries here. If you're shooting professionally, I strongly recommend that you use rechargeable ones. Okay, and let's turn it on. Again, before you start operating any kind of Speedlite or any kind of equipment, I strongly suggest that you read through the manual. I know that the manual says it's Canon, but just read through it and then just adapt to your camera and your flash and you should be fine. Okay, so we have here the pilot button, which tests the flash if it's working fine or not. We have we have iTTL, we have manual, we have the multiple flash. That's something that I can use for moving subjects. We have slave 1, slave 2. So that's all of the menu that we have. It looks a lot like the SB900 for Nikon, but I'm sure that Meike is not an SB900. It's not even close probably. Okay, next is the zoom. So we have by default is at 32mm perhaps, but if you change this one, and I'm not sure if you can hear it, but every time I change the zoom on the flash, there's a mechanism on the flash head that moves as well. So pretty nice. Okay, and aside from the zoom, we have, of course, flash compensation. I'm looking at the box at the side. It says iTTL, eTTL. It has manual, continuous flash, and guide 53. It has EV compensation, which is very good. It has a wide angle diffuser, so I'm pretty sure this is it. It has its own bounce reflector if you want to bounce light through a white source instead of just pointing it directly to your subject. It has energy saving, it has a power receiver. Okay, so this looks similar to the ones that you use for an SB900 or an SB800. I'm not sure if an SD8A or an SD9 would be compatible for this, but might be worth checking. There is no dome diffuser inside the box, which is kind of a drag. Okay, and it has the zoom capabilities, which is pretty okay. Okay, so now that we have the flash on the batteries on the flash, rather, let's put it on the camera and lock it into place. Let's turn the camera on. So notice that my camera is showing at f5.6 and the flash is set up as f5.6. So I'm pretty sure that it is indeed TTL, but one of the few things that we can test is if I change the aperture. Notice that the flash aperture is also changing. One of the other things that we can try is, well, one of the most important ones is the shutter speed. So, you know, iTTL, flash, and the sync speed of the camera body that I have is 1/200 of a second. So, which means that it will not allow me to go beyond 1/200 of a second. So let's go back to iTTL, to TTL mode. Okay, so so this is a cool feature. So I noticed that whenever I move the zoom ring, the flash head zooms as well. So I'm pretty confident that this will be very helpful. My lens is at 18. I'm using an 18-105. So if I zoom all the way out to 105mm, the flash zooms to 105mm. Okay, so I think this goes pretty well. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on a tripod and do a simple portrait, and let's test the performance. Alright, before we start shooting, I think it would be best to show you first how I am setting up the equipment. Now, first of all, we're going to use a tripod. I'm using a Nikon N70, which came in with my camera. Any other kind of tripod would work as well. And you notice that I have something right here. It's similar to a cold shoe. I saw this inside the packaging for the Pixel Pawn wireless flash trigger. So it has a double adhesive underneath. So what I did is I sticked it onto the side here of the tripod, and I used plastic tie wires to secure it together. Now the purpose of this is that based on the review of the Pixel Pawn, I got the chance to read through the manual very carefully. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this and put it right here. Because one of the key features of the Pixel Pawn, if you got the chance to read the manual, is you can trigger a camera using the remote for flash. So we'll see how that one works. Okay. So we'll set up the camera right here. And I am going to shoot this at probably 1/200th of a second, the maximum sync speed of the camera at f5.6 at ISO 100. Now, the reason why I place this here is I'm going to have to trigger the camera using the Pixel Pawn. Now, one of the disadvantages of shooting alone is that you will have to set up the camera and set up the timer. The problem with setting up the timer on the camera is that you won't be able to use the half press button to focus on your subject. Now the only way to resolve that is to use something like this. So now this cord came in with the Pixel Pawn, so I'm going to connect this right here, and then the other end to the side of the camera, like so. And now what we've got, if you can look at it closely, so we've got the Pixel Pawn trigger, which is one of the gadgets that we reviewed last time. It has one of the cables that's inside the package, and we'll connect it to the GPS label that's on the D3200. And with that, we are going to put the flash on. So our very first setup is that we're going to shoot this image, or I'm going to take a photo of myself with the camera directly aiming towards any subject, which is, right now it's going to be me. Now we're going to shoot this as portrait, so do something like this so that it's shooting vertically. Okay, so now we have flash on the camera, turned on, and make sure that this is in TTL mode. Now we're going to shoot this at probably at 50mm. We'll do f5.6. And the shutter speed is 1/200th of a second. Now let's turn the flash off for a minute and let's test if my theory is correct by turning the remote on and the receiver on, and we'll do a half press. Let's look for a subject right here real quick. And now if you hear that beep, it means that your subject is in focus. So I'm not touching the camera, just the remote. I'll shoot. Okay, so now that I know that it's working, let's set it up somewhere here. I'll put the camera somewhere in that area and then we'll take a shot. Okay, now we've got the first setup. We have the camera set up at f5.6, ISO 100 at 1/200th of a second. I also have the flash aimed right towards me, so I'm going to use the remote trigger. We're going to do a half press, and I've set up the focus mode up here so that the eyes are sharper when the photos are being taken. So let's try this one. So that's a shot without a flash. Now we're going to turn on the flash. Now, I'm not sure if you heard that sound, so based on the camera settings that I have, the flash automatically sets and adjusts its zoom. So we'll take another shot and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now we're going to change up our strategy by aiming the flash up towards the ceiling. There you go. So now what's going to happen is we're going to use the flash and bounce the light up towards the ceiling. Fortunately, my room has cream walls and white ceiling, so this is going to be a very soft light. Overall, the MK950 has great quality and performance for its very reasonable price. You can get yours at Plaza for around 350 ringgit. For those who are starting off flash photography for the first time, this is a very good deal. So thank you very much for tuning in for this week's unbox, test, and review. We'll see you next time. Boy, you know what I paid for.